where the moonlight bends, the forbidden dream letters of Aurelius and Selene. Episode 5. Letters in Exile. The fortress of Run clung to the black cliffs like a barnacle to a shipwreck, its walls always wet with salt. Aurelius's quarters were a narrow stone cell facing the endless heave of the sea. There were no roads, only a single path carved into the rock, and no market save the wind and the cries of gulls. The convent of the Silent Archive stood on a hill far inland, its walls pale as bone. The sisters spoke not even to each other. Their vows bound their voices as tightly as their veils. Selene's days were spent copying ancient manuscripts, her only sound the scratching of her quill. The first letter arrived to Aurelius in a dream. He was walking along the cliff's edge when a folded page drifted up from the waves, dry and warm despite the wind. He opened it, and Selene's voice came out, not in words, but as the faint chime of bells in the distance. When he woke, the page was in his hand. They learned quickly that they could send letters not through messenger or bird, but through sleep. At night, Aurelius would write on parchment, close his eyes with the page in his hands, and breathe Selene's name. In the morning it would be gone. She would find it waiting on her pillow. At first, these dream letters were exhilarating, more vivid than anything they had sent before. Aurelius sent her the sharp tang of the Run sea wind, the low growl of waves gnawing at rock. She sent him the scent of winter roses blooming in the convent garden, and the soft warmth of sunlight behind closed eyelids. But soon a change crept in. Each letter seemed to take something from them. Aurelius's hair began to gray. The cold in his bones lingered longer each morning. Selene's voice, though in use in the convent, began to weaken even in her dreams. Once, she tried to speak his name aloud upon waking, and found no sound came out. Neither would admit the cause at first. But on the night when the sea rose high enough to send spray through the bars of Aurelius's window, he finally wrote what could not be denied. There is less of me now. Each word I send to you shaves something away, but what remains is the part of me that belongs only to you. That was the 7th letter. Episode 6. The 12th letter. His 7th letter had left Selene awake for most of the night, clutching the parchment to her chest. The wind outside the convent was sharp, rattling the narrow shutters, and in it she thought she could hear the sea from Run, though it was impossible. She answered the next night, breathing her words onto the page as Aurelius had once told her. No ink, no quill, only breath and thought. When the letter vanished from her hands, she knew he had received it, but her strength was ebbing. The nuns noticed she grew paler by the day, her steps slower, her hands trembling when she held the quill. The abbess said nothing, but her eyes followed Selene in silence. One night, as the moonlight pooled on her desk, Selene knew she had only one letter left in her. She took a clean sheet of parchment, placed it flat, and leaned so close her breath warmed it. Slowly, she spoke the words into it, knowing they would be her last. The 12th letter, Selene to Aurelius, found decades later sewn into the lining of a nun's habit. Aurelius, I am writing in breath, as you told me. The sisters sleep. The moon spills to the narrow window and gathers on this page like milk in a bowl. I can no longer remember your face with my waking eyes, but in dreams is the only thing I see. Sometimes you are young, as when we first met. Sometimes you are older, lined by wind and grief. Always, you are looking at me as though I am the last truth you will ever know. I feel the years thinning in me. When I speak, the sound is like paper tearing. Soon the words will not come at all, and I will live only in the sentences I have already given you. Last night, I stood by the river in Lyria again. You were there, though we did not touch. I think this is how eternity will be for us. Close enough to hear the other's breath, too far to hold it. But if that is the shape of forever, I will not turn away. When you read this, I will be gone from the waking world. But if the tide pulls you too far from shore, follow the sound of bells. They will lead you to the river, and I will be waiting there, not in flesh, not in time, but in the place between. Yours where the moonlight bends, Selene. By morning, she was gone, found lying in her bed, eyes open, the page clasped in her hands. Episode 7. The Vanishing. Aurelius received the 12th letter on a night when the wind howled so violently against the fortress of Run that the guards thought the sea might tear the walls down. This closing remarks. I have kept these letters, or what remains of them, in the lower vault of the Chancellor's library for 23 years. Most are blank now, the words gone, leaving only the faintest sense, the ghost of a sound when the page is turned. There are 12 in total, though the first 6 still hold fragments of ink. The 7th is brittle, and when one reads it, the air turns cold enough to frost a breath. The 12th is empty, but it is warm to the touch, no matter the season. I cannot prove their story was true. I cannot say they truly spoke in dreams, or that a man walked into the sea without sinking. But I will tell you this. On still nights, when the city is quiet and I open the vault, I hear bells far away. And if I close my eyes, I see a river lit by moonlight, and 2 figures standing on opposite shores. They do not cross. They do not vanish. They simply remain, a thread drawn across the dark, shining as though nothing in the world could break it. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.